Welcome to the 14th class in this series of Unpacking Yoga Teachings and Practices. We've titled it the mantra. I'm going to use the Sanskrit pronunciation of mantra. The meaning of the word mantra is that which protects you when you contemplate on it. Mananat trayate iti mantra. And how does the mantra protect you? Mananam is to think constantly, to dwell on something. The mind is mana. So the action or the karma of the mind is to think. And when it thinks of a mantra, that becomes what is called the repetition of a mantra. That being said, as we are conscious and subconscious beings, we are a mixture of both. The mantra also works on these two planes, the conscious as well as the subconscious. One way of looking at a mantra is in spiritual life, in fact, in general. With this particular mind, you cannot realize God, you cannot have visions. Just simply, it's impossible. Why? Because it's engrossed with objects. The mind is flooded with objects. To give an illustration, we say exercise builds the body. Actually, no. Exercise actually breaks the body. And the body tries to heal itself. And in order to heal itself, it has to counter all these stresses. And in the process, it builds itself. Similarly, the mantra, as you keep on repeating it over and over and over again, it breaks your old mind and refashions it. For the simple reason is, like I said, then you can understand, the first step is understanding the spiritual truths and spirituality in general. We will no longer float on the surface. So it is refashioning, remolding, remodeling the mind, and that comes through a mantra, which is a power or the work of the mind. As we have seen in our previous episodes in this series, that there are thousands and thousands of thoughts, and which all can be kind of converted into one single thought, and the power of all those thousand thoughts will automatically impel that one thought of mantra or the meditation. That being said, we spoke about the two aspects of the mind, the conscious and the subconscious. These divisions are just to make us kind of understand the mind is unitary. Okay? It's the subconscious and the conscious working in tandem. They are both the mind. A further analysis in this brings us to another aspect through which the mind actually functions. And that is, to give a simple reason or kind of illustration, you hear something and then the mind associates that word or that sound with a meaning. And when these both are combined, what happens is you have knowledge. So there are three aspects of the mind. One is called a sound or shabda, And then the second one is artha, meaning. Every sound is associated with a meaning. It cannot be that a sound is not associated with a meaning. And when these two are together, you get the resultant knowledge, Shabda Artha Jnana. So, even a mantra has these three aspects. First, the sound aspect, and the meaning aspect, and the knowledge aspect. Many people, they keep on repeating the mantra mechanically without understanding the meaning of it. And after years and years of just repeating it mechanically, then they might go towards the meaning aspect of it. And then the knowledge of that mantra flashes. So, it is better to start with the sound as well as the meaning of the mantra. And that is what Patanjali in his yoga aphorism says, that is japa, that is repetition of a mantra, when the meaning of the word is dwelt upon. Tad japas tad artha bhavanam. That is artha, that is the meaning, bhavanam is to be deeply engrossed in this thought. So, that is japa. So, people are saying that we have been doing japa for n number of years. Yes, the idea is to do it properly. And once you can do it properly, you will see how the mind starts integrating itself. And that is what is called the mind gets protected. As I said, the original, you can say, meaning of the word mantra is manana trayate iti mantra, that the mind in which you constantly dwell upon, that is the mantra which protects you. Apart from this psychological explanation, then you also have the spiritual explanation, that when you call on God with sincerity, God protects you. This is the idea. So, further, since we have understood, I want you to keep this in mind, the three aspects, the sound, the meaning, and the knowledge. These things are so instantaneous that we cannot separate them technically. It is only yogis who can separate them, and in the highest states of meditation, we are supposed to separate all the three, the sound, the meaning, and the knowledge. And when you can do that, you get into what is called samadhi, not before that. Many people go into samadhi. I don't know what samadhi is that, but this is one of the methods of getting into samadhi, when you can separate the three things together. Okay. Now, when we look at this world outside, you find it has three levels. I mean, the world in the sense, the world in its totality. Okay. Creation, external creation, and that external creation also has to be within us, the internal creation. Otherwise, it won't synchronize. The very fact that the external world's aspects and the internal world's aspects synchronize, so that is why I can cognize objects and interact with this world. I have got to be, the mind has to be on the same level. So, there are three again levels. This is a further analysis of the mind. I am using the mind also to mean the mantra, because the mantra also has three levels. So, the first level is, and this is very important, when you look at creation, you see the personal aspect. What is this personal aspect? The personal aspect, again, the mind functions on these two, you can say, modes, name and form. Whatever is named has a form, and whatever has a form has a name. You can't separate these two things together. It is just impossible. Every object has a name, a chair and a table, etc., etc., and you can go on, and it has that name and form. It has to have a form. So, this is the grossest aspect of the mind, which understands objects by its names. It's the name and the object. The is called, in Sanskrit is called nama rupa. Everything in this world has this name and form. Okay. Yet at the same time, we cannot say that we understand this world completely through just name and form. Otherwise, we would have just become materialist. There is something mysterious about it, something secret, something that's mystical in nature. Life itself is so mysterious and mystical. So, we say, what is the mind? How does the mind work? We will talk about neurons and parts of the brain, etc., but that's not explaining what's a mind. The mind itself has a kind of a mystery around it. Life has a mystery around it. How we cognize the world is still mysterious. So, this mystical aspect, this mystery, I won't say mystery, mystical, is the second aspect of the mind, as well as life, as well as the world, as well as the mantra. The third aspect of this external world and everything around is the impersonal idea. When you look at space, you know it's there, but you cannot formulate any idea about it. When you think of time, what is time? Well, you have an abstract concept of time. I am not talking about you look at your watch and say, oh, it's 7:11. No, it's not that. Time. So, what is time? So, we have another impersonal and abstract entity around everything. So, we have the impersonal, we have the mystical, and we have the grossest, the name and the form through which we understand the world. The mind has, again remember, three aspects: the impersonal, the mystical, and the grossest, the name and the forms. As well as, if the mind has it, the external world also will have it. The mantra also has these three aspects. It has to have. First is, there is an abstract, impersonal, you can say, symbol of a mantra. The abstract and impersonal aspect, the mystical aspect, and the grossest, the name and the form. Okay. So, each mantra has three levels of reality, and as you keep on repeating over and over again, you are strengthening these three levels. How? Just to take just a kind of an ordinary illustration. The first part of a mantra. What is a mantra? Well, a mantra is nothing but a condensed prayer. You have very elaborate prayers, and over again, the sages, what they did, they kept on trimming things to bring it down to you can say a level where it can be repeated over and over and over and over again. So, the first part of a mantra is the impersonal, which has a symbol of Om, the impersonal aspect. Okay. The second aspect of a mantra is its mystical nature, which is given as a kind of a seed. What is a seed? Like a seed has a potential to become a tree, so is the seed part of the mantra. And this could be anything: Om, Aing, Yang, Rang, Lang, Vang, etc. These are the sounds which have no corresponding objects in the world. As I said, there are sounds which always have a form, name and form, but there are some sounds which do not have a corresponding object. In the gross world, it has a corresponding object in the subtle, mystical world. Now, if that is clear, I think we can proceed further. Okay. Then, the grossest aspect of the mantra is the name and the form, the articulate name and form. So, we have the impersonal, the mystical, and the name and the form. The mystical aspect is an aspect of Maya. Certain aspects of Maya are very powerful. How? Because of creation. You cannot deny creation because you see creation, you experience creation. But what really is creation is unknown. So, the second part of the mantra is this mystical seed mantra, and it has to be repeated, as I said, over and over and over and over again, so that mystical part becomes revealed to you, that the Maya aspect is revealed to you. People say, oh, this Maya, it's not, it's very bad, it's dangerous. No, no, I'm talking about the Maya aspect which has created this universe. And in the terms of, you can say, theology or whatever, it's a name of the Divine Mother, a secret name of the Divine Mother, okay? The mystical name of the Divine Mother, Shakti, the power. So, this, and then every mantra has a presiding deity. Now, why is that important? Again, I mentioned whatever has a name has to have a form. So, the name, the sound of the mantra and the form are two complementary entities. You cannot separate the two. When you say, for instance, Buddha or Ramakrishna, immediately the form also appears in your mind. So, when you repeat this mantra over and over again, you are centering it on the deity. And if the mind has 3 levels, if the mantra has 3 levels, the deity also has 3 levels. It is the personal, that which has name and form. It has that mystical aspect, and it has that impersonal aspect. So, this is what is called a mantra. I think I have loaded enough for you to kind of slowly ruminate and slowly digest. All these aspects have to be kept in mind while doing repetition of the mantra. I mean, you consciously start, and then slowly, as you keep on doing it, it becomes natural. You will get tremendous insights into the nature of reality through the repetition of this mantra. And this is the best way, the only way, rather, I will say, in this age to realize God. Visions and etc. will come only when the mind has reformed through the mantra, not otherwise. With this mind, with this eyes, you can't see God. People come and say, have you seen God? Holy Mother was asked about this. Say, I want to see God with these eyes. No, no, you cannot see with this. That is, you cannot see with this mind. So, remember that aspect of exercise actually breaks your body, and the body rebuilds itself. So, similarly, the mantra breaks your mind, old mind, and refashions it into a new mind. It is through this mind that you get all these spiritual experiences. So, the presiding deity is here, and the mind now slowly gets integrated. You can understand the functionings of the mind from the conscious as well as the subconscious. And we spoke about these two aspects. There is another aspect which can be brought in. So, we have the subconscious, we have the conscious, and we have the superconscious. The personal, the mystical, and the supernatural, the impersonal aspect. So as you keep on repeating the mantra, your mind will go towards the superconscious level. That is the whole process of repeating a mantra. Why do we have to repeat a mantra? If the mind is not getting refashioned, you are not changing yourself. So this is okay. One of the signs that you are articulating the mantra correctly is, Swami Vivekananda says, you can repeat it for a very, very long time without the brain and the body becoming fatigued. This is the first sign that you are repeating it correctly. Secondly, just to speak on the gross level, at the very cellular level, your body is changing to the sound vibrations and you feel more alive. It's not something after doing a little japa or meditation and all, you fall asleep. And then so what happened? It's supposed to awaken you. It's supposed to energize you. And the opposite is happening. So, first thing, you don't feel the fatigue. Secondly, you feel energized. This is the best indicator of your practice. So, this practice, as you keep on practicing over and over and over again, and that's what practice means. You repeat 108 or 12 or 10 in the morning and 10 in the evening and say, I have practiced. No, that's not practice. Practice is your entire, you can say, focus is on this mantra. As you keep on repeating it, this mantra will work subconsciously also, and it's always a case. Suppose you see a particular flower and then after a couple of days you recall that flower. What has happened? That conscious experience of seeing that flower has become a subconscious experience also, that is revived and recalled and made into a conscious experience. So it's like it's cyclic. Something that's conscious gets down in the subconscious and then emerges out again. So this very fact that a mantra also, when it's repeated on this level, conscious level, goes down below and becomes subconscious and again re-emerges. So this cyclic nature of the mantra, of repetition, of memory, of everything has to be employed in the repetition of a mantra. And as you keep on and on and on, you will find not only your conscious mind changing, your subconscious mind also changing. And when you are doing any other work, they will say, oh, when I'm doing work, it will interfere with. It doesn't interfere. And we have found out that the other interference with your work is the random thoughts, subconscious thoughts that are pulling and pushing you. The mantra protects you. So when you're doing any other work, the mantra keeps on repeating itself beneath your subconscious, and then when that work or your activity or your focus in that particular time is removed, that mantra again is recalled, and then you can do it consciously. So the entire day the mind holds on to that and repeats it. There was a time, there was a monk who was saying, Oh, so boring. You have just one mantra and that has to be repeated all your life. Oh, if you would have had some more mantras, one for Mondays, another for Tuesday, another for Wednesday, another Thursday, that would be good. That's not good. That's bad practice. First is there are two aspects here. You have one mantra given, okay. So Patanjali in his yoga aphorism says, to remove restlessness, the study of one subject has to be made. That is, you need to have just one mantra. And as you repeat it, then what happens is tata pratyak chetana adhigamo antaraya abhavasya. That is, as you keep on repeating, the old obstacles are removed and the mind is getting more and more internalized. Now the mind is externalized. That this mind has to be made internalized. It has to get in. So that is done. These two aspects happen when you take up one mantra. One mantra repeated over and over again. The second is, it may appear one. So we are telling that Swami, yeah, it's good fun to have just one mantra. Imagine if you had 20 or 30, you would have gone crazy. But each mantra has different level. Every time you repeat it, you are repeating it at a different level. It's like you're getting into a lift and going flow by flow, ascending flow by flow by flow. First floor, second floor, third floor, fourth floor, fifth floor, sixth floor. You keep on. So every time you repeat it, it's one, yet it is not one. It's on a different level. Okay. So this is what a mantra is. It is a vast subject. It is something that needs to be kind of emphasized, especially for spiritual aspirants, to get it right. Once they understand this, then spiritual life becomes very easy. Okay. We stop here for today. Before we can go in, I had spoken about this mantra in LA, where I had spoken extensively on mantra yoga. There are two sections of this. I think maybe 30 classes were there. You could check it out there and start putting in your questions now. Before we can get into questions, we had on advance. So there was somebody who had asked this morning, what about the disturbances in the mind when you are trying to meditate or trying to repeat a mantra? So, well, what happens is, if you close your eyes, you will find two streams of consciousness or two streams of thoughts, the conscious and the subconscious. As I mentioned before, it's just beneath the surface. So you have two things happening simultaneously, and what happened, the mind sometimes switches from one level to the next level. It's always like that. You're trying to meditate and suddenly you think of a movie, and then the movie takes you down its storyline, and there you're lost. And then you try to come back again, and oh my God. Generally, the thoughts that disturb meditation or japa are subconscious thoughts. So there's a stream, like when you see a river flowing, we think is that river is flowing, but that same river has different speeds of flow. The water has the topmost layer, as you know, speeds faster, though the water at the banks is slightly slow. The water which is right down below, touching the ground, that flows a little slow. So, it is the same river, but there are different, you can say, rates of flows in that river. So, similarly the mind is one, yes, but it has different thoughts flowing at different rates in the mind. To hold on to one and to neglect the other is what we had spoken of in the art of direction or the art of misdirection. So, to hold on to one, strengthen it. As you keep on strengthening it, you will start getting joy, and just ignore the other subconscious, you can say, stream of thoughts. As you keep on building up that strength in the first flow, the second flow becomes weakened. And then as something, when you are very strong, you feel confident and you feel great joy. Similarly, the mind also, as the mantra keeps on being repeated over, it becomes stronger and stronger, stronger. You will feel great confidence and you will feel great joy. That is how the mantra works. So, as I said, it is a very, very vast subject. I have touched just one small aspect of it. If you need any further clarifications, as usual, you can go to the stream when it is uploaded. This class. So, type. The first question is, good evening, Swami. How can you please explain the difference between the mystical and impersonal aspect again? The mystical is the Maya aspect, and the impersonal is the, I am not talking about monotheism. Almost all religions are monotheistic except Hinduism and Buddhism. It is actually impersonal, and that impersonal reality takes a form, as it were, whether it is Shiva or Vishnu or Devi, whatever, or Christ or Buddha. So, how does it take this impersonal reality become that personal reality? Through the aspect of Maya, and this is the mystical aspect. What is Maya? It is a great mystery. Do not try to understand it, try to have devotion to it. It is personalized as the goddess. Okay. So, how can the infinite appear to be finite? That is another way of putting it. How can that which is infinite appear finite? It happens through that mystical aspect of Maya. Okay. While speaking here, it occurred to me that it will be good if I can elaborate a little on this mantra, more on the repetition aspect, because like I said, I wanted to make these classes practical. We haven't, we never did the usual meditation practice, because religion is practice. It is not just simply listening to something and, oh, very nice, very nice. No, it is actually practice, and that is what I am trying to kind of inculcate in you. Try to put some of these things into practice and see everything changing for you. So, I will be speaking about, I will be rather elaborating on the mantra, but it in its practical aspect. I told you the psychology or the spiritual aspects of the mantra. I am going to speak about how to repeat it. Okay. Om Shanti 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 Hari Om Tat Sat Shri Ramakrishna Arpanamastu.